We are going to deal with the third section of the prose lesson, Who Owns the Water? In the previous sections, we saw that a tiny bird noticed a slight depression on the dry land. So it loosened the earth with the help of its claws and then laid her eggs. After a few days, the bird left the place with its young ones. Then a wild boar came to this place. Finding the depression a bit uncomfortable, it started digging and made the pit even bigger. Then the wild dogs came in search of the boar, and thinking that the boar was lying deep under the earth, it started digging the pit. In this way, the hole became little bigger. Then the rains came and filled the pit. After a few days, green grass started growing around the edges. This place attracted the buffaloes. They rolled in the muddy water, and in this way the pit became little bigger and wider than before. Thus, this tiny depression became wider and grew a little watering hole. Thereafter, the buffaloes lived happily in that place. You can see how the land is tilled. In the first one, you see a man tilling his land, and in the second one, a tractor is used to till the land. This picture shows that it is summer season. The land is totally dry. The farmer has tilled his land and he is waiting for the rain, though the rain seems to be very cruel. In the second picture, you find a man fetching water for his thirsty crops. In the third section, there lived a poor farmer, and this farmer tilled the land near the small depression. There were no rains. In summer season, he found it very difficult to get water for his thirsty crops. He had to travel long distances to fetch water. In spite of his continuous effort, he could not get a good harvest. This picture clearly shows that the land is very dry and there is no water for the thirsty crops. One day, the farmer straightened up from his back-breaking work and he looked over the land, and you know very well that he was very unhappy because his land was becoming brown again. Suddenly, the farmer noticed a patch of green. He went near this patch of green land and he fell to the ground with gratitude at the sight of this green place filled with grass. He was delighted to see water close to this land. Here you find the picture of a pickaxe and a spade. The farmer was very much happy to see water near the land. So he at once rushed home and he took a pickaxe and a spade and he came to the spot. When he came to the spot, he saw the buffaloes rolling in the muddy pool. He then transformed the pit, that is the place where the buffaloes rolled, into a decent little pond. You can imagine how much happy the farmer must have been. So he wanted to tell his wife about the pit. So he went home and he informed his wife about everything that he saw. The farmer's wife called the village priest to bless their fortune. The news spread all over the village. People gathered by the side of the pond. This is the picture of priest. The farmer's wife called one such priest to bless their fortune, and she brought the priest to the place where the water was there. All the people had gathered near that pond, and when the people reached that place, they could see only the priest chanting something, but they were not able to understand anything. Anything in the sense what the priest was chanting. The richest farmer in the village moved to the front. He was upset because he was not invited to this place. He looked at the poor farmer and the pond, and he smiled with great satisfaction. Then he looked at the priest and said that, "I know you have come to bless my pond." The poor farmer, hearing the rich farmer's remark, immediately asked, "Is it your pond?" In response, the rich farmer said that, "This patch of land is mine," and saying so, he immediately planted his feet solidly on the ground. As the rich farmer and the poor farmer looked at each other, the wild boar, the wild dogs, the buffaloes, and even the little bird stopped by to see what was happening around them. They all stood around the little pond, and in each one's mind, be it the small or the big, came a similar thought. And each one had this thought going on in their mind. They thought that I have put some effort to this and I have something to do with this. Thus, the story ends with the question, who owns the water, or who is the rightful owner of the water? Meanings. Tilled, prepared the land for crops. Meager, small quantity. Gratitude, thankful. Suspiciously, doubtfully. Summoned, called. Fortune, luck. Contentment, satisfaction. Stuttered, spoke with difficulty. Pickaxe, a tool used for breaking hard surfaces. Choose the correct answer. The little bird broadened the hole with her blank. The options are beak, claws. The correct answer is claws. The wild boar settled down, scraping the hole into a blank to have a good sleep. A. Pit. B. hollow. The correct answer is pit. The poor farmer's crop was blank, meager or surplus. The answer is meager. Choose the correct answer. The boar slept until the fading sun told him it was time to get up. What does the phrase "until the fading sun" mean? Until evening or until sun fades in color? The answer is until evening. The farmer was thankful at the sight of the verdant bowl because it was a pond of water, or he wanted green grass. The answer is it was a pond of water. They all stood around the little jewel of blue means they stood around the pond, or they stood around the jewel which was blue. The answer is they stood around the pond. The dry earth soaked up the moisture as a hungry puppy laps up milk. It means the puppy was very hungry, or the dry earth absorbed the water very quickly. The answer is the dry earth absorbed the water very quickly.